Hello, welcome to the Moon Base. I'm Scott Moon, as you might have guessed. So today I'm just trying a few things, doing something different. I made a few notes. This is my quick, super secret plan for the show today, or chat or whatever. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to talk a little bit about my stuff and hang out with some people, some writers I know, and whatnot from time to time, and just kind of have fun. It's not really a big deal. It's very informal. I hope you enjoy it. It gives me a chance to talk about whatever I want. So today I thought I'd start off with a kind of a treat. I don't know if it's a treat. I think it's cool. But when I first wrote The Last Reaper, I did a sketch for Jay and Cheney on Dreadmax. And that's not at all what I imagined it to look like by the time I was done with the story. But that's kind of what I did there. I thought that was kind of neat. You kind of see it's obviously a broken down space station or with some ships docked around it. So that's kind of cool. Talk about that. Give me 1 second. I started a bunch of message conversations right before I was told this to go live. The other neat thing about it is it will also be on YouTube, so we can watch it later, and I may download sections of it. If I actually by some miracle say something that's like really fascinating or interesting or helpful, then I can cut those out and make some clips and share them if they would be useful for somebody. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to pull up my Facebook feed, see if it's actually broadcasting like I think it is. Right now I'm just looking at it in StreamYard. So as we worked on Keystroke Medium for so long, yeah, there it is. That's a cool delay that it has there. I wonder if they can read the chat. I'll have to ask who we got here. Kronos, hey, Kronos, good to talk to you. And good morning, I guess, where you're at. Hey, Rick, how's it going? Cool. Good to see you. Anybody wants to join in? Like I said, this is just a spur of the moment thing, and I'm not super organized or promoting or anything like that. So this over on Keystroke Medium, we're doing the keystroke writing month challenge thing like that. So everybody's been really cool. Some people are writing every day. Some people are like smashing lots of words every day or not every day, but it's pretty good. I'm really hopeful that people will all develop their own routines and rituals and support each other. All righty. See, looks like I see Josh Hayes. So I can kind of look the way StreamYard works. The one we finally settled on for Keystroke Medium is it also has a chat in there. So, but it's slightly delayed. I have a Facebook user. It says, "Hi, Mr. Moon. Good morning." Actually, I think that was Kronos. And then Josh Hayes says, "Yo." So yo back, yo this. What I really want to do with this is kind of like Keystroke Medium, but more just we're going to hang out and talk about whatever, and be even less formal and less directed than what we do there on our Monday Night Live show and things like that. So what have I been doing lately? First, I'd like to talk about Lights Over Cloud Lake. I put it out in my newsletter last Friday, I think, was my normal newsletter goes out. And I talked a little bit about Lights Over Cloud Lake. It's by Nathan Heisted. It's a alien abduction thriller. So I think it's really interesting because Nathan writes military sci-fi, space opera, and things like that. And it's really good. It's done really well. Has a very deep series, the event series, and that's super cool. Lights Over Cloud Lake is more of a thriller. Now, if you've read much of Nathan's stuff, he writes some horror and some thriller stuff, and I think he's a big fan of Stephen King. So this is different than the military sci-fi space opera stuff, but still very cool and very much more of a mystery thriller. And I liked it. It was a good change of pace. I listened to it on audiobook, and the narrator, she did a great job, really easy to listen to, nice and smooth, didn't distract me from the story. That's the main thing that I like from my narrators. Rick says, "What? It's hard for me to be less formally dressed than I am when I watch Keystroke." That's a true thing, because really we only have to dress to about this level right here. Everything below that, completely up for grabs, as we say. So if you're looking for a mystery thriller or know somebody who is, check out Lights Over Cloud Lake. Give it some ratings, because everybody needs a review. You can never have too many good reviews and stuff. So I went from that. I went to listening to an audiobook that I haven't heard for quite a while, and it's Master and Commander. and by Patrick O'Brien. It's a 21 book series. It's a very interesting series because he passed away before completing the last book, and the book literally just stops. So it's not like Brandon or Robert Jordan, who had Brandon Sanderson finish the series. It just ends like you're like on like chapter 3 or something like that. And strangely enough, that was okay. You get 21 books into a series like that, and some of them are big books. It's just you're along for the overall journey and things. So I like it. Now, when I first did Master and Commander, I was getting it as a free audiobook from the library, and they changed the way you can download books from our library, and I kind of quit doing that, and I went to Audible and got a subscription, and that's where I do it. The problem is that the digital download through Audible now is by a different narrator, and I don't like him as much. He's okay, but I can hear him breathing a little too much as he reads. And the way I first heard the series was Simon Vance, who's a fantastic narrator, very awesome. It's a different type of book, but I think Master and Commander, that whole series, is good for writers of military science fiction. It's actually, I think, required reading at the Naval Academy, if I'm correct. I read that someplace. Somebody told me that. So it's a good book. I did finally, in 2020, I thought that last year, all business. I worked, I wrote books, did a little bit with my family, and that's pretty much it. I didn't necessarily always take care of myself or stay in a good mental place all the time, always on the grind, always pushing a little bit too hard and whatnot. But I also didn't read as much as I wanted to. I mean, I'm always reading, but not at the pace I wanted to. I got very behind. I wasn't listening to audiobooks as much because I was listening to lots of nonfiction, lots of podcasts. I started listening to lots of YouTube-ish podcasts on mindset, motivation, and fitness, and just weird random stuff. Really fell down the YouTube hole from time to time. So this year, I want to get back to kind of what makes me happy and makes me feel like me, and that's writing books, family, not in this order, obviously, working out, doing martial arts, and reading and taking in stories, whether it's through a book or an audiobook or a movie or a series. So, of course, The Mandalorian's over, and I cried a little bit because I feel a special kinship with Baby Yoda because we're the same age, and it's a bond that can never be broken. But so now I'm watching The Witcher. Hey, Christy, good to see you. I am watching The Witcher. I'm like 3 or 4 into it. I don't really make time for it, but I did last week, and I watched several of them, and I absolutely loved it. So I probably like it more than The Mandalorian, and maybe Dark Fantasies. Just what do you call that? My guilty pleasure. Yeah, I agree, Rick. Witcher is awesome. So I'm watching. If you're watching this later after I record it, every now and then I glance over at the chat. Josh says, "This is the way." The Witcher is the way. It could be. I do like This Is the Way, and also I have spoken. I almost wanted to use that at work the other day when I was arguing with somebody. I have spoken, and then walk away. That would be cool, like a mic drop. So I love The Witcher. It's really good. Hopefully, I get some people on here, and we'll talk more about it and like discuss what's cool about it, what we think could be or should be different and stuff. But so far, I just really like it. It's good stuff. I like fantasy, and there's a lot more to choose from as far as fantasy visual mediums, movies and TV, than it used to be. Probably something not a lot of people know about me, and it sounds ridiculous, and sometimes I talk about it, but sometimes it sounds like I'm just being dramatic or stupid because I'm not really overweight or anything like that. But I really think that I probably have some eating disorders at work, and I'll talk about it in a second. Rick says Cavill is great in the role. Yeah, he does a great job, and not too much dialogue, so makes it easy, I'm assuming. But so one of the things people eat for different reasons, and I got a problem where I was just eating like a half dozen king size candy bars every day at work, and then working out like 3 hours a day to try and combat it and stuff like that. So this year I decided that maybe that was not healthy. And so far it's what, the 5th or 6th? Let's look at my calendar, whatever. It's 5 or 6 days into 2020. Yes, Scottman has spoken. This is the way. Oh, Christy says, if you like The Mandalorian, you'll love Johnny Rocket. Not that they're anything alike. I just think that you would like Johnny Rocket. Of course, everybody should do that. Everybody check that out. Um, so what I've done is my problem is when I start to eat, once I start, there's like no stopping me. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's kind of disgusting, really. But um, if you'd seen me eat, you'd know what I'm talking about. Like, for example, we used to have a coworker that would bring in this awesome pan of brownies for like fourth watch, and I work third watch. So I'd be there when they had their squad. And then everybody would eat a couple of brownies and go make calls. And I'd be, if I happened to be in the office at that time, I would just go eat the rest of the pan. So it's kind of unfair to everybody. And must have candy. Where I work, people kind of love us with food, and you'll come into work one day like thinking, I'm going to get my act together. I'm going to eat good. And you'll come in, there'll be like 5 boxes of donuts. There'll be a full spread of barbecue. There'll be cakes and cookies with little notes from kids saying how thankful they are for what we do and all those things. And it's just everywhere. So people love each other with food, and I'm down with that. I like food. I enjoy it. I definitely would not tell anybody not to have the donut, but I got to stop. So hold on, I got a visitor. I think we're going to watch Master and Commander here in a second because that's one of my favorite movies. What? I'm doing a podcast. What are you doing? He walks off. That's Garrett. So he's going to start taking jiu-jitsu this year. So the other thing I was going to talk about today was Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which I've always been a big fan of. I'm not terribly good at it, but I'm willing to get in there and mix it up. You can see that today, which way do I need to go? Today I might have resisted some chokes a little bit more than I should have. You can see like, I'm doing this back in the camera. This is so hard to do. That's so weird. You can see both edges of my collar. So there's the bottom edge of my collar and the top edge of my collar. And everybody's a great job. It's not like one of those things where people are being too rough. You can set your own pace, but I get in there. I'm kind of stubborn and I don't want to tap out. So I try to brace myself and fight against the choke and all those things like that. One of the guys there's an actual MMA guy, and he's real quiet and taught me a lot of stuff, but boy, he just thrashed me. He choked me like 4 times in 5 minutes. I did a little bit better against some of the other people, but the brown belts took it pretty easy on me, let me try things, which is good, but then kind of schooled me a little bit. Manny, he's the purple belt. He of course choked me multiple times. And then all the other people my rank and below, we all just rolled and did pretty good. I think I got submitted by a white belt and I'm a blue belt. So that's just the way I am. Like I said, I just like doing it. I'm not necessarily trying to impress anybody. So, but I am really glad. It's always been my goal to be an accomplished martial artist. I tend to let it go. It's not my top priority, but I'm going to try to do it at least once or twice a week this year. Then maybe when I go full time as a writer and I'm not going to the day job every day, I'll have time to go like 3 times a week or something. The last thing I wanted to talk about on this test run of the Moonbase show, or whatever you want to call it, is just talking about my project. So I'm currently working on Hunt of the Reaper. That's Reaper 9. I already have the book cover for Bastion of the Reaper, which is an amazing book cover, of course, because Jeff really knows where to find those. I think it's going to be good. I'm about a little over halfway through it. I'm a little behind on my word counts. But today I started going through from the beginning, listening to, so I have an app called Speechify for those who don't know. And I listen to my phone read the book back to me through these wireless headphones that connect to my phone. And then I usually put up on Scrivener where I do my main edits and all my story structure stuff. And I listen and read, and it helps me clean it up a little bit. So I'm doing that. For me, there's always a point where I have to take a step back, get the whole story all the way from the beginning so that I can push forward. Now, so my word count today is like 350 words. Once I get that read through, then tomorrow I'll probably write like 4,000 or 5,000 words because I'll be all primed and everything's going and cruising forward. But the thing is that I need like 6,000 words a day to hit the goal I set for myself. So I'm a little behind, but not the end of the world. I'm also contracting some book covers through Tom Edwards for the Shortyverse. The first Shorty full-length novel will be called Fight for Doomsday. For people who've liked Shorty have been very encouraging to me. It's really fun to write. I'm going to love this book cover. I've seen basically Tom is building me a mech that he can use in all kinds of different settings. Of course, he can manipulate them 3D and put them in different scenes and have other mechs and things like that. So the whole series will have some continuity. And I'm really excited about that. I think that's what the story deserves. Of course, Ellen will be editing it, and she has a special affinity for Shorty, and that I think that's a good combination. They're fun stuff. I also have a series I started a long time ago called Blue Sun Armada. It's gone through several starts and stops. I bought some pre-made book covers from Tom Edwards, which are fantastic to get that thing rolling. So it had something when I finally got them done. And it's a little bit different. It's kind of, you might consider it more of a space fantasy, but it's basically it's very much a mech warrior space, like island hopping or planet hopping campaign, looking for Earth, trying to return home, that whole thing. There's some twist to it, to why they're so far away from Earth. I'll leave that for the books. But they're set up on they have kind of a feudal system going that's developed over the last 10,000 years, which gives it a little bit of the fantasy setting as far as how they talk and interact and kind of some of their stuff, the pros and cons of that type of structure. I really like that too. I want people to get that out. I have many other side projects that have started and stopped, but are not my priority. So I have an alien invasion series that I started a while back. I want to finish that up, or at least get that going by the end of the year. And I have some cop thriller stuff that I'd like to do just because I think I should. So that's all I got. Yeah. Josh says, must have the candy. I'll take all the cinnamon roll pancakes. Oh, I can destroy some cinnamon roll pancakes. I may have to do that. So I guess, I don't know if I said it earlier, but how I've gotten control of my eating, since that seems to be what I'm talking about today, is I started doing intermittent fasting. I've done it before, but I've done it every day this week. And I do basically usually a 20 or 21 hour fast, sometimes 17 or 18, depending on just how the food falls out and how work dictates my eating schedule sometimes. But like today, I was worried because my eating window is from 11 to 3. I try to eat not too many carbs, but if I eat them, it's not a big deal because I don't overdo it during that limited time frame, because there's a cutoff point where I have to stop. And so, but today, so my eating window is 11 to 3. JiuJitsu, the class I have time to go to, is at 11. So I went to JiuJitsu starting the 21st hour of a fast, rolled harder than I expected to, got done, felt pretty good, ate a couple of protein bars, came home and made myself some fajita. I call them fajita guts because I don't use the tortilla, and some other stuff. And so it was a good time. So I hope this worked out. I'll go check the YouTube video when I'm done and see if it's, worth keeping around. And the big thing is I just want to talk and have fun, give people updates. If people want to hear things or have questions about any of my books, please let me know. Or if you want to know about any of my friends' books, I'll talk about their books or get them on here to talk about their books, and we'll have a good time. So thanks. Have a great time. Be safe, and Happy New Year. And so I got to look for the end broadcast button. So I'll push it and then see if it works. Peace.